Hello. Hello, everybody. I think we're live. Come on. Hang on. Always having technical difficulties. Bloody camera won't focus now. I hope I haven't hit the mute button this time. Well, good evening, everybody. Where shall we start? From the beginning? I'm not talking about politics. The bloody globalists are winning. They're pissing me off. Let's stick to cars. Good evening, Mr. David Watson. Hi, Alan from Dublin. Hello over there in Dublin. I have a Mondeo Mark 5 Auto taxi. The coolant keeps losing water. Okay. And P2000 fault. NOx bank below threshold showing always, which is a mystery. I believe that was a software issue. It might be worth checking out your Ford dealer for that, because I reckon that's a software. We sometimes get that, and it's got to the point it doesn't really cause any problems. It's nothing to do with you losing coolant. It's just a software issue code, and we've had a few done under warranty. But now, if that code comes on and it does bring the light on, we just clear the code, and you don't see it again for months on end. So, but it's to do with one of your sensors on your DPF. You've got like, I think 2 temperature sensors, and there's like 2 other sensors, like lambda sensor looking sensors. One of them's a NOx sensor, NOx sensor. But it's nothing to worry about. If you've got one of them code readers yourself and you can clear the code, I'll just clear it. Save spending out, because them sensors, if you have to change a sensor on your DPF, they ain't cheap. I'm telling you, they're flipping expensive. So, but I would check with your Ford dealer about that code, because they might be able to rectify that themselves, because it's they've done a load for us. When a lot of the taxis were quite new, that was one of the codes that kept coming up. Anyway, thank you, David. Hello, Steve. How are you? It's been a little while since we've done a live stream, so I thought I'd better show my face. I was actually tonight. I was going to talk about cameras. You know, because that is actually one of my hobbies, cameras. That was the whole point of the YouTube channel, really. It was like a love of cameras. So I actually might do that at the weekend. I might get all the camera gear out and show you what I use and how I use it. And I know I don't use it much, not like some people, but I sort of like have a certain camera for a certain issue, for a certain bit of filming I'll do. And that's it. I'll have certain settings plumbed into that camera, and I won't touch them again. I'll just leave it at that. So I don't even do much in the way of photographs anymore. I used to get quite adventurous with the photographs and Photoshop and all that, and manipulating things. But it's sort of like died a death. Now it's just straight on filming cars, really. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, Steve. I do see your emails occasionally. I try to reply to them. The trouble is I get so many comments all the time, every day. It's hard to keep up with it all. I try and do a batch at a time. Anyway, what have you got to tell me? Mark 5 Mondeo coolant leak is normally the EGR valve. Yes, you're correct. The problem is that when we had the Mark 4 Mondeos, 2-litre diesels, we never even spoke about coolant leaks. There just weren't any. Occasionally we would have a radiator leak, and I don't even remember ever having a water pump leak. Then along come the Mark 5, and they were all right for a while when they were new. When they got sort of like above 80,000 miles, then the water leaks started. EGR valves, thermostat housings, water pumps, radiators, flipping heck. I've even had a heater rad on a Mark V. I've only done one though, and I never want to do another one because what a flipping job that is. In actual fact, I'll just briefly go over it in case no one's ever seen the heater rad on the Mark V. The actual heater unit inside your car is bolted to your fascia or dashboard. So when they fit the heater unit and your fascia in your car in the factory, it all goes in one great big assembly. A big robotic arm, I guess, comes along and puts it inside your car. And if you ever have to take the heater unit out of your car, you have to take both front doors off. And you're supposed to take the dash and heater rad out as one big thing. I managed to get it out, get the dash out without, and leave the heater box in, but I had to break a few screws to do that. So, but what a flipping job. Not very nice. Anyway. Hello, Chris. How are you? Do you remember Chris? Chris Bell, PC technician. He's the guy who came down the other day and spoke about the Mark V steering rack issue, where the electric motor, the bolts, the aluminium bolts corrode. They don't come loose, they corrode. So you don't see nothing wrong with them, and then they'll snap. And then all of a sudden, your electric motor starts to fall off your steering rack. So in actual fact, it's come out, Ford have actually got a recall in this country. Whether they've recalled all the affected cars is anyone's guess. But if you do have a Mark V Mondeo, it's worth checking with your Ford dealer whether your car's affected and need your bolts replacing. But anyway, Chris, while you're here, thanks for dropping by. Oh, it's very wet and rainy in York. Well, I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of rain here as well. But tonight, it's a clear sky. I haven't even put my heating on yet this year, and it's like 22 degrees in here. Hope you've got the Jack Daniels out and having a I'm getting it out now. Because you're here and you bought it, I'm getting it out. I will point out the seal has not been broken. I've saved it especially for this live stream. We've got the whiskey tumbler. Don't forget the ice. You know, Chris, this is the litre bottle. 1 flipping litre of 40% volume. So, don't want to spill it. I'm guessing this little piece is supposed to come off as well. I think it's supposed to break when you undo the lid, but it never quite happens like that. No. Oh my God almighty. There, that's the lid off. So, cheers, everybody. And thank you very much for this bottle of whiskey, Chris. I shall enjoy this very much. And I can tell you now, this will certainly last well over Christmas. There was a time, oh God, do you know, there was a time I could go through a bottle of that in a week. It's amazing how quickly you can start drinking when you actually start drinking. But I don't drink no more. So I only have alcohol when it's given to me. so cheers, Chris. I shall make that last, that's for sure. Right. And I'll also point out I've not actually had a drink of alcohol in quite some time. So I'll try and keep it down or I'll be under the bloody table. Steve, turn on Super Chat because you use StreamYard. You will get 100% without YouTube taking a lot. I don't even know what Super Chat does. What the hell is Super Chat? Listen, all I do is put video clips together and bang them on YouTube. I don't understand all this Super Chat and stickers and all this YouTube stuff. I really don't get involved in it. I would have to have a step-by-step destruction book to tell me how to do it. Maybe I'll look into it. but thanks anyway for the tip. Super Chat will buy you a case of Beck's and a bottle of Jack Daniels. I'll just for you, Steve. I'll look into what the hell Super Chat is. But whatever it is, I don't know what you're supposed to do about it. Will there be an Xmas special live near the date with both you and Monica? It all depends if I can think, if I get a video that's meaningful, if you know what I mean, and I can add something to it. But no, I'll tell you what, there may be, but if I can't, I do have an ace up my sleeve. I had the fantastic idea of, which is going to take freaking ages to sort out. I had the idea of taking all our videos, going through them all, and just picking out the me, Monica, and anybody else bits that are in them, just like the funny bits, and put them all together as one big compilation, and bang it out as one big video. I thought that'd be pretty funny, because I'm looking at about 4 years now, 2018, yeah, about four years now of making these car bids, where Monica's been involved, and sometimes I've had a few other people on, so I can put the whole lot together, and it won't be anything about fixing anything. It'll just be our silly bits together. So I thought that'd be cool, but I might do that. I will do that. I've actually got it started. I've actually wrote down the first 5 videos starting from July the 23rd, 2018. But you understand it's going to take me quite a long time to go through each video, find out exactly what videos I'm going to use bits out of. When I get a whole list of them, then I can import all the videos, cut the clips out, and then do it. But as far as Christmas goes, I would love to make a decent, good video and try and make something funny in as part of it as well. So I will try. But I will be doing a live stream over Christmas anyway, or a couple of live streams, because I quite like doing the live shows. It just gives me an evening to sit here and actually talk when I've got no one else to talk to. So it's kind of boring here sometimes. And the kid's on his PlayStation, and my my woman comes on at a certain time of the evening, so I speak to her, Kenna. So in actual fact, usually on a daily basis, by the time I get home from work, it's normally around about this time that I've actually finished all my little chores, dinner and, washing up and cleaning and all that sort of thing. And then I get a chance to chill out. Anyhow, I'll move on. But what have we done? Do you know, I'm worried about touching this microphone, this mouse, in case I mute myself again. Hi, David, how are you? My Mondo comes up with 2263 turbo pressure fault. Without me, is that a Mark IV Mondeo? Is it a Mark V? Without actually Googling that code, I would say check your turbo hoses, because quite often you can get a tiny or a little tear in your turbo hose, and then it can start throwing up volt codes like that, because you're not getting pressure, you're not getting the boost pressure in the hoses. But I mean, I can't sit here and start Googling the codes because there's too many people asking questions. So, but what I would say is Google the code and see if anybody else has come up with that particular code, and you can read it up. Chances are you'll read half a dozen posts about that code and you'll come up with a great big blank anyway. So, but I would definitely check if it's a Mark, see the trouble is there's a big difference between a Mark 4 2-litre diesel and a Mark 5. The engines kind of look the same, but they're very different in the way they're working. The Mark 4, you've got a couple of solenoids which run vacuum pipes around to your turbo wastegate, and them solenoids can get weak. They can either stop working or get weak and cause you codes like that. And also the turbo boost pipes, they can get oiled and get soiled up and get split or get holes in them, and then obviously they're going to cause you turbo issues. So I would Google it first. One easy way, if you've got a turbo boost pipe split, if you accelerate down the road, you'll normally hear, you'll probably be lacking in a bit of power, and you'll hear a rush of air. You'll literally hear air being sucked in somewhere. It won't sound right when you try to accelerate. Righto. Is a Mark IV Mondeo stuck actuator arm on the turbo? Needs carbon cleaning. It could well be. It could well be. But I mean, I've had a few of these where you literally have to physically get to the turbo, disconnect the arm, and so you can move it with your hand to see how free it is. And I've had a couple where I thought the actual wastegate was sticking, and when I disconnected the arm, they were free as anything, and it turned out to be the solenoid was weak. It was still working. When you start the car up, you've got the little arm that operates your wastegate. When you start the car up, it was going like that, boom, like that. But what it's supposed to do, as soon as you start the car up, it's supposed to go boom, really fast. The arm is supposed to move really quickly. If it moves like that slowly, or about that kind of speed, then that's not going to work. That's going to cause you codes and problems. So I noticed that because when I went quite into depth with a couple of these cars, and when them Mark IV Mondeos, as soon as you start that engine up, that wastegate arm is supposed to go boom quickly. So if you get underneath the car and you can watch that, and you can sort of you'll know if you've got a problem then or not with them solenoids. Google. Google is one. Well, it's funny, you know. I mean, a lot of people would have not very nice things to say about Google, but there again, on the plus side, if you look for stuff, I mean, there's so many people in the world posting. So this is the whole thing. If you've got a problem, it's worth, even if you're not making videos about it, it's worth posting it in forums and anywhere you can on the internet, because there's always going to be someone else who's going to want to know the answer to something. And this is the world we're living in now. There's so much information out there. It's free information, a lot of it. So it is pretty good. And there have been a number of times that I have to look. Well, lots of times I have to look for stuff, and a lot of the time I don't get the answers I want. But a lot of the time I do get the answers. There was an instance today actually. What's this bloody code? Let me bore you with my bullshit. This was my problem today. I had B1998 passenger side mount airbag circuit open. That was on a Mark II Ford Focus 2007. And there's this airbag wiring goes up into the back of the seat, or to the side of the back of the seat. And there wasn't nothing wrong with it. It was the fact that the person before, someone had been at it, and they had chopped the wires and reconnected them up. There's a big multi-plug underneath the seat that you use a 7mm socket to undo the big multi-plug and bring it apart. But they had chopped a couple of the wires where obviously they'd chafed through or something or broken, and they'd fixed the wires together. The wires looked perfectly fine. The repair that had been done. They'd all used heat shrink terminals and everything, but they weren't making a contact. So I had to cut the wires again and join them up again, and it put the airbag light out. But trying to find, I never knew about a sensor or that airbag inside the seat. I'm flipping like looking for all these because I look on the internet, I look at Google and I put in the code, and everything I'm seeing on the internet is pointing me in a different direction. One post is pointing me towards the B pillar where there's a crash sensor there. Another post is pointing me towards the airbag, the curtain airbag, and that's definitely not the problem. And it's like, it took me a while to actually find the actual sensor I was looking for. But anyway, I'll get apart from that. Let me carry on. As in, I Googled P2263. Yeah, the problem is, you're lucky if you get somebody who actually puts the answer. The amount of times you read through forums and you're looking for an answer to a specific code, and it's just load and load of chats down the list, and then all of a sudden there's no answer. The talking just stops, and you think, oh, after like 2 pages of flipping people replying, there's been no answer. And it's not always very often that somebody with the initial problem will come back to that forum when they've resolved their problem and actually put the answer down. Some people do. But 10 minutes to go. What, 10 minutes to finish? I'm 5 minutes to go. Is that until I'm under the table? I tell you what, that flipping strong whiskey. Jesus. Hi Sam, how are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Now I've got my JD. So yeah, I hope you're good too. Thank you for joining in the live stream. Steve, Plantar Facilities here. Hi Mark, how are you? Good evening to you. Thanks for stopping by, joining in the live. It's actually been, I don't know, I can't even remember the last time I've done a live show. I know it's a few weeks back now. Well, more than a few weeks back. So I should be putting them out a bit more often. The trouble is, it's like, I guess most of you probably understand, you go to work, you come home, you do this, that and the other, and by the time you've done all the bits and pieces you've got to do, the night's nearly over. It never used to be like that. It just seems to be that way these days. Norwegian mechanic, hello, how are you? Are you in Norway? How's life over there? Anyway, thank you very much for stopping by. Florin Stan, hello. How's it going? You know, my middle name is Stanley. I just thought I'd run that by you. Chris, hello Chris, how are you? Good evening to you as well. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Wednesday evening. Boring Wednesday. And it's dark in the evenings now. It's getting to the point now where I get home about 6 o'clock and you can see that the light is fading, and it won't be long now. I don't like the bloody winter. It's horrible. I like the summertime when it's lovely and warm, and it's sort of like 8, 9 o'clock at night. It's still light outside. Oh, it's Sam. Hello. My car needs a service, and I would like you to do it if possible. What car have you got? And I'll let you know whether I can do it. So if it's a Mondeo, it's no problem. Oh, it's a Skoda Octavia. Yeah, that's my sister's got a Skoda Octavia. It's a 2009 model. Yeah, I'm sure we can do that. We're normally we don't do that much in the way of customer work. We do some when we can. Normally we've got a lot of company cars to do. That's the main problem. And as you can appreciate, a lot of these taxis, they're getting on now, and bigger problems with them. It's just time consuming. There's only sort of like 2 of us up at the car sales. So, but yeah, give us a call sometime and let us know what you want, and I'll let you know if I can fit it in or get it done. Adrian, hello. Hello to you, Adrian, and good evening. Thank you for stopping by. Have you got your beers out? I should have actually got this out at the weekend, but it doesn't really matter. When you haven't got to get up the next day, you can get as pissed as you like. I shan't get too drunk tonight because I've got to get up tomorrow. The boss will have kittens if I don't turn up for work. he won't be bloody happy, that's for sure. Anyway, 199 Quinny. How's it going? You've got a 2011 Mark IV 2-litre EcoBoost. It's never had the pink coolant changed. Does it need doing periodically? You know, antifreeze has changed over the years. They call it lubricant now as well. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell does it lubricate your cooling system? I guess it does something. Maybe I know a lot of these antifreezes, you've got to use the right antifreeze for whatever car you're putting it in. Because some antifreezes, I know in the past, used to have adverse effects if you put the wrong antifreeze in. You're best doing it by what the dealer, maybe not the dealer, but what the service list would tell you. So if it says replace your antifreeze every 2 years or every 24,000 miles, then you're probably best doing that. There is a reason. I mean, it does deteriorate over time. Chances are, I mean, if you didn't bother, your antifreeze could probably last for God knows how many years. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. And this is me. My bloody Mercedes-Benz Vito 109 CDI. I bought that van. It was a 2005. I bought it in 2006. It was about 1.5 years old at the time. I got rid of it this year. 16 years I had that van. And you know something? In them 16 years, I never had a coolant leak. And I also never changed the antifreeze. So 16 years later, my coolant expansion bottle still had the blue antifreeze in it, or bluey green antifreeze. Never touched it. So it's entirely up to you. But if you value your car and you want to do everything right, then I would change it as what's stated in the service schedule. That's the best kind of answer I can give you. If you don't want to spend any money, then you can take a chance, obviously. Lazy fishing. Hello. I love the bees. I like to put something stupid in the videos. I know a lot of people do the old commentary bit, and this does this miles to the gallon, and it's got X buttons on it and all that stuff. But I mean, my channel was all about having a laugh. It was never meant to be serious to start with, but obviously when you're putting out things about cars, you want to be sort of like kind of right. You want to sort of like tell something interesting or something that's true. But in my videos, I like to have a bit of fun. That was the whole point. I wanted to sort of like do a video on how to do something and then have a bit of a laugh on the side, just as a sideline, as a part of the video. But yeah, I think you've got to have a bit of humour in this world, especially now, because there's not much to laugh about. I mean, we've all got our electric bills coming, right? I'm actually surprised the government have all given us a £400 grant. I'm quite impressed with that one. I can't see that bloody Rishi Sunak prolonging that for any much length of time, because he's a globalist shill, isn't he? So you can't expect anything to get better under him. So anyway, let me carry on. Anyway, Lazy Fishing, thanks for stopping by. Hi Andy, how are you? Windy, wet Isle of Man, flipping egg. We've had Ireland, now the Isle of Man. Good to see you still doing the live vlogs. Yes, I do like to do the live vlogs. Do you know what? I just don't get around to it all the time. And sometimes I just feel like after a day's work, I'm like, get back and I'm like, I just can't be doing it. But the funny thing is, when you actually get started and get going on a live, it's okay. It's all right. I know it's only just me here talking, but I've got to try and envisage you're all sort of like there and trying to comment and say what you want to say and ask questions and stuff. So I mean, it's good. Gone are the days of the four channels on your TV set. Well, maybe remember when Channel 5 was a big thing? Oh, you got the extra channel now. These were the days before even Freeview and all that, before Sky TV. Now you've got, well, if you've got a TV set, you've got loads of channels, haven't you? And the sky's the limit. And now with bloody the internet, you've got flipping heck. It's like on YouTube alone, you've got millions of things to watch. You'll never be bored. Whenever you want to look for something, anything you want to look for, just type it in and there'll be a documentary on it or something. Anyway, thanks for, this is a bloody fly. Anyway, thanks Andy. Hi Luke. I like your avatar. I'm trying to think what that's off. It's one of them little plasticine men, isn't it? I don't watch enough animations, you see. But I do like some of these animation programs, these little movies they make. What is your thoughts on the Ford Fiesta being axed? I only just heard that today on the radio. I wasn't really paying attention, but I heard it. Well, I mean, you know what? It's been going for, how long has the Ford Fiesta been going for? Flipping longer than I can count. It's been a long time. You would think the car dealers would have, you know, brought out a new model with a different name. I know they're like household names, Fiesta. I mean, look at the Ford Sierra. That went for a while. I mean, I think that went for as long as it could go for. Then they axed it. Then they brought out the Mondeo. And the Mondeo's been going for flipping heck 25 years or more. It's like, no, I think they should all these boffs that think of these names should think of another name. But the trouble is, we don't even know where cars are going at the minute, do we? They want to ban cars, don't they, by 2030? They want us all living in trees. They think all these renewables are gonna heat the homes, don't they? Heat pumps that don't bloody heat the bloody houses up. What a load of rubbish. Anyway, no, I actually think they should axe it. It's been going for too long. Change it, bring out another car. And I'll tell you something, but don't do what Vauxhall have done. Because, you know, years and years ago, I used to have a Vauxhall Viva. Now, I know they weren't much back then, but I mean, I did like my Vauxhall Viva, and it was to me, it was a nice looking car. I always wanted a Vauxhall Firenza, you know, the Viva with the twin headlights in the front. But I know they were too expensive at the time. But Vauxhall brought out the Viva again. They revamped it. But when I looked at it, I thought, what the hell is this? It looks like a Vauxhall Corsa. And I would have just walked past it and not even noticed it. It was just a boring flipping. They must have knocked it up in the morning, you know, just drawn a few flipping lines around a previous car, of Corsa or something. And I thought, flipping heck, that doesn't. You know, if they would have wanted to bring the Vauxhall Viva back, surely they could have made it a bit funky, make it look a bit nice, jazzed it up a little bit. I've never seen such a boring flipping car designed in all my, well, apart from a Fiat. I've seen a Fiat, which is actually worse, but no. I think honestly, for the 10th time now, I think they should design a new car. Maybe design a new car. I mean, look at the new Fiesta. It looks pretty smart. And I tell you what, they're getting bigger, aren't they? They're getting bigger all the time. Look, the new Fiesta out is quite a big car when you look at it, when you think about it. They should design something new and call it a different name. Find a jazzy name for it. Anyway, I'll move on. Syed, hello, how are you? I like your washing machine. That is a Hot Point Ultima. I bought that flipping years ago. I can't remember how many years ago, quite some time ago. It broke down within the first week. The digital display panel blew up, but it is still under warranty. It's long out of warranty now, but it still keeps going. It's been a good machine. I think I've had to replace the heating element in it, and I think I've had to do a few other little jobs in it, but it's been pretty reliable. I don't think it's a dryer. I don't even know. I don't even use, if it is, I don't use the drying bit in it. Anyway, Syed, thank you for stopping by. Nice to hear from you. You're in Montenegro, am I right? Montenegro? Who have we got next? Adrian, hello. What can cause overfueling? White diesel smoke from exhaust. I thought overfueling was black smoke. White smoke, I'd say is too much air, or the pump timing's not right. It's going to be under advanced. It actually depends what car it is, because the trouble is these days you've got high pressure fuel pumps. But if you go back a few years, when you had the old rotary diesel pumps, the ones that you could actually adjust, and if you got the cam belt timing, say your rotary diesel pump was run by a cam belt, if you got the pump timing wrong, then it can give you different colours of smoke depending on whether the timing's under advanced or over advanced. And a lot of these pumps, you used to have to get a DTI in the back. I know in some of the Volkswagens you did. You had to sort of like set the pumps up once you change your cam belt or pump belt. So, but it depends what car you've got and what type of setup it's got. You'd have to let me know what car it is. But you shouldn't be getting white smoke out the back unless there's something seriously wrong. Yeah, let us know what car you got first, then we can sort of like work on it from there. Anthony, hello. What noise would a blowing exhaust flexi pipe make? I don't know what noise it would make. I'll tell you something though, on them 1.8s, there used to be a little gasket on a, there's a little pipe up near the top of the engine around the turbo area, and the gasket would leak, and they make like a high-pitched squealing noise. It was quite a bizarre noise they used to make. And it was a bit of a sod to actually change that gasket. So that might well be your problem. It used to be a common thing we had on them. It wasn't the actual flexi pipe on the exhaust downpipe. There's a separate little pipe. I forget what it is. I think it was off the EGR or something, like a little flexi pipe, and it used to give a bizarre noise. I'd have to, you know what, I'd literally have to hear it again. It's been many years now. I can't speak Russian. I guess that's Russian. Mark, hello. How are you? I'm doing fantastic. Me and my glass of whiskey, we're doing all right. Lots of Mark III videos. There's a reason for that. We've got a lot of rental cars. They're all Mark III Mondeos. However, by the way, I will point out right now, I have a video for a Mark III Mondeo. It's replacing the heater radiator, heater matrix inside the car. I've done the video about, I don't know, week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago nearly. I haven't put the video out yet, but it's still on the computer. I'm working on getting it uploaded. But we're sort of like, I've been going through quite a few of these rentals lately and doing a few jobs on them, but they're being replaced now for Mark II Ford Focuses. And I've actually got a Focus. There's a nice one. It's a Titanium X. I was going to do like a talk around that car. Maybe try and do that this week sometime and get that video out for the weekend or next week. Any chance of a Mark IV in the near future? So all our Mark IVs are parked up against the fence at the minute. They're just spare cars. I don't know why they're actually spare. They're all high mileage cars, but they don't give much trouble. They've been really good. If I get a Mark IV in and there's something on it that's worth noting down, then I will. This is the thing. I can only do what's coming in the door, and at the moment it's either still Mark Vs or Mark IIIs, and now I'm getting a few Focuses in. I did take a video clip the other day, which I will put out, of a Hyundai one. I forget what this bloody thing is called. It's like a Hyundai sports car. It's a bit of an old one though. I had to tighten the fan belt, but I didn't take the video of tightening the fan belt. It was the state of the inside of the car, the skin and the hair on the seats and console and all over the dash and everything. I had to get in that car and I was bloody heaving. My skin was crawling in that flipping car. So I thought I'd film it and I'll be showing that. I don't know how some people can bring a car in and expect people, mechanics or the office staff to get in their car in that kind of state. It's a flipping biological hazard. I mean, the worst car I ever had was it was a nurse's car of all people, and that was terrible. I put that video out. I forget what video it's in now, but I put that out a few years back. Flipping heck, that car was minging. Even the trash car, the Volkswagen Beetle with all the cans and rubbish in it, was nothing compared to this nurse's car. But this car I done yesterday was getting close. It wasn't nice. So I will add that into one of my videos so you can see the disgusting mess that some people drive around in. But yeah, if I do get a Mark IV in with something that's worth talking about, I will. I will do it. Lazy fishing? Yes, +1 Mark IV vids. Okay. If I find anything, I will certainly rack my brains and try and think of something. Hi Finn, how are you? Oh, you're in Dublin as well. Oh dear. Well, it's nice and clear skies here tonight, so we're all right. I'll tell you what, I've got a water butt out there. The amount of rain we've had in the last few days, it filled that water butt up in about 2 days. I don't like the bloody rain. But anyway, thanks for stopping, Finn. Nice to hear from you. Stuart, hello. Spoke to you a couple of weeks ago about my engine head gasket. T8, finally got one. Is this the Peugeot 508 that you? Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. You phoned me up at work, and you're trying to bleed the fuel through. Have you got it? Have I got the right car here? I'm not sure. I'm confused. Let me know if it's the Peugeot 508 that you had the head off. Yeah, let me know. I'm not 100% sure. But you finally got the head gasket. Yeah, because someone phoned me up. I'm thinking it might be you. And the other day, and you got it all back together, but you're trying to bleed the fuel through. You can't get it started. And I said it's similar to like the Mark IV 2-litre TDCi. You've got to bleed the fuel through the back return, the fuel return pipe on the engine with like a suction pump. Get some suction going, and then crank it over and see if you can get the fuel bled through. William, do you not get fed up working on the same old Mondeos? Yes, I bloody do. Flipping heck. I do when it's horrible jobs on them, and there are some flipping horrible jobs on them. And the more mileage they're getting on them, the worse the jobs are getting. It's like at some point the cars are going to have to go, or something's going to give. I still can't get engines for these bloody cars. They all seem to have dried up. Do you know? There's an engine on eBay that will fit in our taxis, and it's up for £1,000, and the heading is non-runner, cranks over but does not fire. So that says to me the engine's probably knackered, and that yet they're trying to sell it for £1,000 as a non-runner. Hello, Paul. How are you? Just in here. I'm glad your car's going okay. I've got 100 of the bloody things to keep on the road, and it's no easy task. That is but so obviously, if you're driving a taxi, you've got to look after it, haven't you? You've got to keep it right. You've got to spend the money on the maintenance. If you skimp on a taxi, it'll come back and bite you. That's for sure. But nice to hear your car's doing well, Paul. Emil, hello. How are you? Hello from Romania on a 2006 Mondeo Mark III. See, I'm a Mark III owner. 2-litre diesel. Morning when I start the car, blows black smoke. Not a lot, but makes a little cloud. But the car is pulling like a mad one. Yeah, I think them cars, them 2-litre TDCIs, I mean, they were pretty damn rapid. I mean, for a diesel, they were fast. They were, you know, they were like really quick off the bloody mark. And you do get black smoke out of them. I will say though, check your turbo hoses. If you do get a small hole in a turbo hose, you might not notice a lack of power, but it'll create a lot of soot. If you get a big split in a turbo hose and you lose all your power, after you've changed that turbo hose, you take it for a drive, there'll be clouds of black smoke. Them cars do not have diesel particulate filters on them. That's one thing to remember. So you will see a bit of black smoke or blue smoke come out of the exhaust. If it's usually blue smoke, if it's not burning the fuel right. But black smoke is normally just a bit of soot, or I guess it's just a bit of soot that comes out of the exhaust. Diesel was always used to have black exhausts with a lot of soot. It's nothing unusual on a Mark III 2-litre diesel. It was only on the Mark IV they introduced the DPF, and the emissions were tightened down a lot. And by the time they got to the Mark V Mondeo and they got these Euro 6 emissions, you go to the tailpipe of a Mark V Mondeo diesel and it's squeaky clean. They really are sort of like, you don't see no smoke come out of them cars. But you go back to the Mark III, you definitely saw some smoke come out of them. So don't worry too much about it. As long as it's running well, that's the main thing. I mean, obviously, if it is pouring clouds of smoke out, you've got an issue. But you will see a bit of black smoke from them. Tariq, hello. My Mark IV Mondeo is losing half litre of water every day. Flipping heck, that's quite a bit. And a Mark IV. You know, Mark IVs aren't supposed to lose water. Well, you're going to have to get someone to look for it. I would say probably radiator or possibly water pump. Unless there's something else going on, like heater rad maybe, even though I don't ever recall doing a heater rad in a Mark IV. I mean, I can't really guess it. Mark IV Mondeos are not prone for coolant leaks. They just aren't. They tend to do very, very well. They last a long time, and coolant leaks were never an issue on them. But you have to get someone to actually look around it and see whether if it's losing half a litre a day, you should be able to see it. If you can park it up somewhere overnight and on a clear bit of ground, or put some paper underneath it or something to see if anything drips on the ground. But that amount of water you're losing, I shouldn't think it'd be hard to actually detect. Bryden, hello. Hello to you. I'm just wondering how many comments there are here. See a red taxi in Biggleswade. Yeah, I mean, well, Biggleswade isn't that far away from me, really. That's just down the A1, isn't it? So, yeah, they do get around a bit. Yeah, they live in taxis. They do a lot of airport runs. They go all over the flipping place. So, anyway, Brian, nice to hear from you, and thanks for joining the live stream. I bet you could do a bottle in a night. I'll tell you what, I'd be dead if I drank that. I could probably do about if I filled it up to here, I could probably do about 3 of them, and then I'll be done. I'll be dead. I'll be sort of all over the place. You see, I don't drink alcohol, so it's, well, I do drink, if you know what I mean, but I don't go out to pubs or anything like that. So I get drunk very, very quickly because I only drink at like certain occasions. And tonight's an occasion because I had this Jack Daniels bought me by Chris Bell. So I thought when I do a live stream, I'll have a drink at the same time. Gary, hello. I love your hairdo. It's good, isn't it? It's cheap. I'll tell you something. Going back some years now, I bought off eBay one of them wire clippers, the ones they use in the salons. It cost me £50, and if you think about it, I was spending £10 at the hairdressers probably once a month to get a trim. And so after I bought that clipper, all I needed was a little bottle of oil, which I use actually air gun oil on the clipper blade, you know, air tool oil. So it's a thin enough oil, it works very well. So all these years later, I've never had a haircut at a hairdresser's now. Sort of like it must be 6-7 years now. I just use it. I know how to break my wrists, so I can use the clipper myself. And it's, you know, I just what bits I've got on the side and back, I just do it myself now. That's a money saving tip if you want to do your own hair. You know, you can also put a pudding bowl over your head and just do around the sides. Stuart, I have a 2014 1.6 CDTI. When it gets up to temperature, the temperature gauge goes up. The car loses power. There is no warning light coming on. Also, the heaters are not going hot. That's not a good sign. The first thing that should heat up in your car is the heaters. If the heaters aren't getting hot, that says to me you're getting an airlock through your heaters. Either your heater rad is blocked solid and the water can't get through it, or there's an airlock in it. And sometimes what happens, if your head gasket's gone, it's pumping compression from the engine into your cooling system, and that will go into your heating system, and the water can't get past the air. So you get these air pockets in your engine and heater rad and all that, and the engine's literally starting to overheat. So what you're best having done is get it to the nearest garage and have what's called a block test, just to, you know, where they put the jar of liquid over your coolant expansion bottle and see if it changes colour. It tells you whether your head gasket's gone or not. I'd get that checked out rather quick, because by the sounds of it, you're not going to be able to exactly go anywhere without the thought of possibly breaking down big time. So it's pretty serious, especially if it is a head gasket issue, or if your thermostat is stuck closed and it's getting to the point where the engine's heating up. Mind you, that would still heat your heaters up if the thermostat was stuck. So no, it sounds like you've got blocked heater rad, or you've got air in the system somewhere. And normally you're getting air in the system because you've got a head gasket issue. So yeah, I'll definitely get it checked out rather quick. It sounds pretty serious. Hello, Chris. Can I dress up as Santa Claus for the Xmas special? You can do, actually, because I tell you what, I've got the elf outfit still. Remember that? It's still hanging up in the closet. Remember when I had the elf outfit on, I had all the balloons. I got some funny looks that bloody day when I was walking down the street. Yeah, by all means, dress up as Santa. We've actually got a taxi driver who looks like Santa. He really bloody does. I keep telling him to piss off back to the North Pole. He'd come out just on 25th of December every year. I don't like to see him. Stephen, hello. I've still got my Jonah. Oh. Well, at least you put a lot of money into it. You can say that. The problem is, if it's one, do you know what? I had a, I can sympathise with you. I used to have, it was a 1996 2.3 litre Ford Scorpio, 2.3 litre. And I loved that car. Most people hated them. They called them fugly cars, but I loved that car, okay? The problem is, when I bought it, it was fine. No problem. But I was driving along one night, and it was an automatic gearbox. Driving along, and the overdrive light came on and started flashing. The overdrive light doubles up as like a warning light if something's wrong. And so if you pulled over and switched the engine off, then start it up again, the overdrive light would be out and everything would be fine. But it got worse and worse. And in the end, I sent the car off to an automatic transmission specialist in Cambridge. They replaced the valve block in the gearbox at great expense. It wasn't any better, it was actually bloody worse. I sent it back, they couldn't fix it, and in the end, their company shut down. So I was out of luck. I had a buggered gearbox that was literally terrible to drive. It kept sort of like causing the gears to be jumpy and all sorts of things. I then bought from Ford a Recon automatic gearbox. It's about £1,000, £1,100, whatever it was. Fitted that. In the space of 3 months, it started slipping between second and third gear, shifting upwards. And at that point, I was sort of like, do you know what, I've had enough. I got rid of the car, and shortly after that, I sold it for £400, that car. But it was a good car. Do you know that car cost me the best part of £7.5 grand when I bought it? So yeah, I spent a lot of money on that car, and I had a big loss on it. If it weren't for that gearbox, I'd probably still have it today. Well, maybe not. But yeah, I know what it's like. You keep ploughing money into a car, and something else keeps going wrong. So yeah, you could always turn to the bottle. Anyway, Steve, thanks for dropping by, join the live stream. Nice to hear from you. Usually fixing and tinkering. Hello. Hope you're good. Yes, I'm good. Love the videos. Recently keep up on it. Just bought a late Rover 45 for next to nothing as a project. Completely solid underneath, but head gasket has gone. Mayonnaise. I don't know what. Is this one of the Chinese made Rover 45s? I'm not sure. Do you know what? I've lost touch with Rover now. But as far, the Rover 45s I knew, they had does it still have this K series engine in it, where they've got like the head gasket, the thin tin head gasket with the orange sealant around it that all sort of like falls to pieces and comes off. Because they were forever going wrong. Rover never admitted they had a head gasket problem, but they bloody well did. But yeah, then the Rover 45, they were good cars. I mean, you know, they weren't bad actually. I mean, Rovers, they were supposed to be the car, you know, the one that was going to put Rover ahead again, but it never quite happened. But they weren't actually structurally, they weren't a bad car. I don't ever remember much in the way of rust on them, not like some of the previous models. But yeah, no, but it's all in good condition and there's no rot on it. That's the main thing. That's half the battle won. Engine-wise, you can work your way around that. So yeah, if you want a project, then go for it. I suppose that'll be a nice little task, getting that head gasket done. Everywhere. 087 male, happy haircut. I did actually do my hair tonight. I had a wash, had a shave, shaved my head. That's another £10 I saved from the hairdressers. Anyway, 087 male, thanks for dropping by. Hope you're doing well. Steve, everything at the start was typed before Alan went live. I don't think I want to look too far down here. Oh my God. I didn't want to keep this going too long, you know. It's sort of like, I wanted to stick around about an hour. Jackson Systems Limited. Good evening to everybody, and good evening to you, Jackson Systems Limited. I haven't heard your name before, so you must be new here. Well, thanks for actually joining the live stream. It's actually sort of like interesting to have different people coming on as well. I don't think my channel gets sort of like many views, if you know what it doesn't really sort of like get out there, so don't really get recognised, if you know what I mean. Let me just top up the old whiskey. I'm going to stick a few more ice cubes in it. You know, the trouble with these bloody live streams, once you start, unless you work into a plan, it can just go on. And the next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later. So I try. Oh my God.
That's okay.
Yeah, I turned round and you were like, what? You all right? You want to come and say hi?
Not really.
Okay. These Gen Z.
Shut up, you're old.
Right. Anyway. Hello, Paul. I think I've already said hello tonight. So how comes your comments right the way down here? I'm getting confused. David, hello. My Mondeo is a Mark IV with the Mark IV. Aha. Yeah. I would definitely be checking out the solenoids on the passenger side of the cylinder head, and they've got vacuum pipes that go. One of the vacuum pipes goes round the back to your turbo wastegate. But do what I said. Get someone to start the car up while you look at the wastegate actuator arm. The arm should, as soon as you start the car up, the arm should go boom, really fast. If it goes like that at that kind of speed, that's not right. It's got to go boom, fast. If it goes slow, it means the solenoid is weak. You need to change the solenoid. And there's two solenoids. It's a brown one, brown looking solenoid. I've got an odd front end problem. On acceleration, car shifts to the right and pulls right, but can't feel pulling steering. Let off, it recenters and goes straight. Shocks or rack. Oh, it could be a drive shaft. They call it, they would call it torque steer, I think. You know, when you front wheel drives, when you accelerate, this is really when you're really giving it some. They call it torque steer. Your car will veer either to the left or right. But obviously you've got it's obviously not torque steer. No, you've probably got a. It could be a drive shaft problem. It could be a bush on your bottom arm, worn out one side. I'd definitely get the front suspension thoroughly checked over. I wouldn't have thought it'd be a shock absorber. More chance of a bush being worn out, something not quite right one side, or the tracking out. Maybe the tracking's out quite a way. I had a car in the other day. One wheel was straight, the front wheel was one wheel was straight, the other wheel was towing in by quite a way. So even driving it in the yard didn't feel right, and that's just simply because somebody had put a track rod end on, and they hadn't tracked it up. And it was, I'll tell you what, I know you can get a pattern part track rod end, and you can measure it up to the old one and think, yeah, it looks about right, while you're on the same amount of threads. And it's still not right. And a lot of time, you can get a pattern part bottom suspension arm fitted to a car, and you would think it's okay, but you have to do your tracking afterwards, because the suspension arm you've just fitted isn't quite the same dimensions as the one you've taken off, and it's probably flung your tracking out by quite a way. So it's just one thing to think about. Whenever you change certain suspension parts, it can put your tracking out significantly. So a lot of the time, if you do have anything replaced on your suspension or steering, you need to get your tracking done. And the consequences of not having your tracking done, if the tracking is a long way out, it can give you all kinds of issues. So, but yeah, I'll definitely get your car checked out, get someone to look over all your suspension properly. And if you can't find nothing wrong at all, at least get your front wheels or your four-wheel alignment done on it. Max, hello. How frequently DPF regeneration should be? I don't really know how frequent they do. I think it's probably sort of like quite a constant thing on them, because they're constantly keeping the system clean. So they can be doing it at just about any time, really. I know you've got to have, the engine's got to be a certain temperature and all that before it will regen, but in order for the Mark 5s to keep the emissions so low, they must be regenning quite a bit. But I don't actually drive the cars, so I couldn't actually tell you exactly how and when they do them all the time. But they are sort of like it's one of these things. It's a constant cycle, if you know what I mean. If it was to stop regenning, then the soot level is going to start building up. So, and I know the Mark 5s, they do it through the ECU actually controls it. You don't have a nozzle squirting diesel into the exhaust anymore. It's all done by the ECU and the fueling. So it's quite complicated how it's done. But if it's not giving you any problems, then leave it the hell alone. Because you'll get into a whole world of problems with DPFs, and when they go wrong, they're a right pain. So if your car isn't giving you any issues, then don't worry about it. '56 Galaxy 1.8. Oh, Galaxy. Yeah, definitely check your drive shafts as well on one of them. I know there was one Galaxy I had in. I think it was a driver's side drive shaft. It goes to like a little unit, and there's something big time had gone wrong with it. Yeah, obviously get your suspension checked out, but get your drive shafts checked thoroughly as well. I know them Galaxies, they can cause drive shaft problems. I had one in a while back. I can't exactly remember what was wrong with the drive shaft, but it weren't good. There's a separate little part of the drive shaft we had to replace. It's falling to pieces, and I guess that can cause you these kind of issues. Jackson sister, what you drinking? JD. I was given this by Chris Bell, one of the subscribers. He come down and done one of the videos with me about steering rack motor bolts on the Mark V Mondeo. So I thought I would save that whiskey for live streams, and obviously over Christmas. So every time I do a live stream, I'll be having a whiskey. I won't touch it in between unless it's a special occasion. So, I do like a bit of JD. The honey version's quite nice as well. Stuart, hello. One of the best bits from a video was when Monica was too busy doing her makeup and nearly ran you over. Oh, is that the one? Is that the one where I jumped in the air? I was thinking of the Grand Theft Auto, you know, the game, you know, where a car goes to run a pedestrian over, and the pedestrian sort of like gets their hands like that, and they sort of like jump out of the way. That was what the plan was. But my plan was to get my feet right up in the air and jump out of the way. I did enjoy making that one. I did like that one, yeah. That was funny. Yeah. I shall get all them clips together and put them all out as one big video. But it's going to take a little while to sort it out. That's the only problem. So, but I will do it. It's like 4 years of making videos. I mean, I tell you, I don't know where these flies coming from. But yeah, I will get around to making that. I think that'll be quite cool. Paul, hello. Is it worth doing stage 1 on a 1.8? I don't actually recall anyone doing anything on a 1.8 like that. I don't even know if you'd notice a difference. It's not exactly the kind of engine. If it were me, I wouldn't bother. I'll just leave it, to be honest with you. If it was like one of the 2 litre with a 16 valve engines that was a bit, you know, or a 2.2, might be worth it. But I mean, you'd be spending all that money on getting your ECU up, but I don't think you're even going to notice much out of it, because the 1.8s didn't have much going in them anyway, really. They're all right, but I mean, they were very underpowered. If you compare the 1.8 to the Mark III Mondeo 2 litre diesel, the Mark III would leave the 1.8 behind. So, no, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I mean, I guess if nobody else has done it, the other flip side of the coin is you could do it and you could sort of like see what kind of difference there is. You could spend that, whatever it costs, a couple £100, £200, £300 to have it done. And if you don't get no real benefit out of it, then you can say, well, it wasn't really worth it anyway, but at least I tried. So it's up to you. I don't really know what to tell you. I don't think it's going to make a hell of a lot of difference. Mondo, hello, how are you? Oh, I like your avatar. That's a bloody big spanner you got there. Jack D, some good customers, subscribers you got. Yeah. Well, I used to like Southern Comfort, but I hear that Southern Comfort's not a cool drink anymore. It's JD is the cooler drink. So whenever somebody says, what drink do you like, I say JD. My Mark IV Mondeo 1.8 TDCi ticked over 222k this week, still going strong, even though I hate the saying, but it drives like new. They were them engines. They are bulletproof engines. They're nothing special, but they go on. If they're looked after, they'll just go on forever. That's what was good about them. They've been around for a long time, them engines, and they do all right. If you just want a car that will just start, get you there, and get you back, no frills, no spills, but it'll do the job. That's the engine for you. Apart from the ones that had the wet belts, which was a bloody expensive job changing them. If you got a chain, if you got a timing chain in your lower crankcase, then great. That if you look after that engine, it'll just last forever. Patrick, hello from Dublin. Well, hello. That's the second person from Dublin. Are you next in line for PM? No, I'm bloody not. I would never get in there anyway. They're all globalist shills in the bloody government now, aren't they? Seems like everyone is in with a chance there at the moment. No, the only person who's got in the government at the minute is a flipping corporate shill. He takes it up the arse from the World Economic Forum, that Rishi Sunak. He's got no interest in anybody in this country. Look at him. He's flipping. He's minted, that guy, isn't he? He doesn't even need to work. His wife is actually one of the richest people probably in the flipping world. I mean, she's bloody mega rich, isn't she? He owns a house and everything in America. He's an American citizen as well. He's got no interest in this country. He's just in there to keep the markets, keep the money going where the markets are, where the big corporations. It's none of what he does is going to affect us. Is going to make our lives any better. He'll just keep the status quo. I mean, look at him. He's just, what's he doing now? Oh, he's not interested in fossil fuels. He's still going along this line of the Green New Deal, net zero, and all this crap. How the hell is that going to work when all these renewable energies are not enough to keep this country going? It's not working. Yet they still keep going along with this crap. They've stopped fracking. They don't want to drill for oil or gas. They think these bloody stupid windmills are going to sort of like power the national grid. They've got to be having a freaking laugh, ain't they? But no, I'm not getting involved. I don't even want to know about politics. They all make me sick. It's not like it used to be. They're all in the pockets of whoever's got the money, big corporations that are sort of like, they can throw elections, can't they? They can buy people. We don't really get a say in it. Look at all these prime ministers we just had in the last number of weeks, last 6 or 7 weeks. It's been 3 prime ministers. Nobody in this country has actually got a say in who's going to be prime minister, have they? They're just working it out amongst themselves. Anyway, I tried. You know what? I try to stay away from politics, but it seems to keep creeping up. It's like I'll just stick to cars. I can forget about what's going on in the world. Just stick to my own corner. Diggler, hello. I've not heard your name before either. But you've got a Mark IV Mondeo. The rear passenger door is hardly responding to the fob key when locking and unlocking the door. Basically, it no longer works. Replace the module circuit, but solve it. Oh. I would say if it's just one door, you've got a problem with the flipping solenoid in your door. the rear passenger door, it sounds to me like the solenoid's packed up in your door, or sometimes the solenoids get really weak and they just don't lock or unlock anymore. And that probably comes as complete latch assembly. Solenoid and latch assembly is one great bigger thing. You've got to change the whole lot. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to, I mean, you said replace the module circuit. When you say module circuit, I mean, is that the actual latch assembly with a solenoid in the door? Yeah, I'm not too sure what you mean by module circuit. Anyway, WOM makes those Land Rover engines that Salvage Rebuilds UK have in bits. Would you consider a brand change? Not to bloody Land Rovers, I wouldn't. I don't like the things. Do you know what? Some of these bloody Land Rovers, Range Rovers, you can't even take the handbrake off. It's like the handbrake comes on automatically as soon as you stop the car, and you can't get it off. It's crazy. I had to service one, and I could not find a way of turning the handbrake off. It's just ridiculous. But no, I don't want a brand change. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. Camille, yes, I'm doing fine, doing very well, and it's nice for you to stop by, Camille. What is the time? It's 9:25. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. Darth Trunky. I haven't heard your name either before. Just got a Mark V at my local garage, who I've used for years, are very loath to touch the Mark V to change the lights. I've bought LEDs. Will your garage do it for normal punters? I guess if it's just a case of it depends what kind of job it is. I mean, sometimes it's not just a case of replacing the headlights. I mean, taking headlights out of a Mark V is no big deal, but if you're changing them to LEDs, I mean, what else is involved in that? Have they got the leveling system? I mean, have you got to fit wiring to the suspension and all that for your self-leveling headlights and all that? Has it got all that fitted? So it could be quite an involved job. But if it's just a case of taking one headlight out and fitting another headlight, as long as the wiring plug fits in, then that's easy enough. A lot of places won't touch taking them headlights out, because the simple fact, because you've got to pull the bumper off at the corner, they're worried they're going to damage the paintwork. That's what it comes down to. That's why I think places like Halfords and that, they won't do it, because they're scared they're going to damage your paintwork. But yeah, I mean, if you just want a headlight fitted, it's easy enough. We pull them bumpers off all the time. The paint is very flexible on them cars, on them bumpers, so it's no big deal. But yeah, we change headlights all the time, take them in and out, changing bulbs, and it's like a 5-minute job now. Fingelsham. I've never changed my coolant in a 2005 Mondeo Duratec. I had it at 1 year old, now 18 years old. Oh, you like me then. Never had a leak. Still okay when tested. You are right about Rushy. Yeah. So your coolant has actually lasted longer in your car than the coolant lasted in my van. But it just goes to show how long antifreeze can last, and yet the dealer would tell you, oh, you must have your coolant changed every X amount of time. Don't even get me started on the brake fluid. Your brake fluid's dirty. Whatever. No. Anyway, I'm not going to talk no more about bloody Rishi Sunak. As far as I'm concerned, he's not a prime minister. He's just a wanker. So, anyway, Daft. Hello from Newmarket. Bit of horse racing down there. Yeah, I've been to Newmarket a few times. There used to be a little cafe in the end of the town. I don't know if it's still there. I mean, I'm going back a few years. Nice little place. Diggler, I had a Mondeo Mark III 2005, had the original battery right till 2016. That's done flipping well then. Yeah, it's good to have a battery last that flipping long. Normally they'll last, well, I see on these Mark Vs as taxis, they will last 3 to 4 years if you're lucky, and then they're dead. Nathan, yo, hello. Is that, what the hell is that? Is that a motorbike or a unicycle? I can't tell. Anyway, hello to you. Mondo, just rolled in channel, shows some interesting customers' cars and interiors full of rubbish or curry. Yeah. Yeah, well, you wait till you see the car I had to get in the other day. That will make your skin itch. KHR 1960 Robinson. Hello. Mark IV Mondeo petrol engine. Is it possible to do a video of an oil and filter change on one of these? That what is that? That's the 2 litre Duratec. That's the 2 litre Duratec, isn't it? It's the same engine that was in the Mark III Mondeo. There's a flipping ton of them. I can do that. The problem is, if I do an oil and filter change, I'll get a load of comments saying, "Oh my God, not another oil and filter change." That's the only reason I don't do it no more. But I could do it. I'll just switch the comments off underneath. How about that? Yeah, I can do it. It's easy enough. Yeah, it's the 2 litre Duratec. Yes. Okay. All right. I'll fit that in at some point. Don't worry. Hi, Jay. Peugeot 107 with a release bearing. It sounds like I'm constantly strangling a cat. We'll wait till it explodes. Well, why not? At least it's cheaper that way. It might not go wrong. It might just stay like that forever till you get rid of the car. You might be lucky. Although I shouldn't think it's much of a job to get the gearbox out of one of them. Hello, Vivian. How are you? Sorry to be late to the party. Well, bottoms up. We'll watch from the beginning on a catch up. Well, thank you, Vivian, for stopping by. I'll see you at the next car show, no doubt. Kevin did message me. There might be one at Needingworth. I think he said Needingworth. I can't remember now. Let me see. Not this Sunday. It's the 30th of October. There is a car meeting in Needingworth. But he's going to get back to me about any details. So there might be one this weekend at Needingworth. I'm not sure at the minute. But if Kevin gets back to me, I guess it all depends on the weather as well. So, but anyway, thanks, Vivian, for stopping by. I'll see you around, mate. Paul, hello. Used to have a Mondeo gear, 20 times 20 litre auto. Found the road tax too expensive and it drank petrol. I believe they only do 16 to a gallon. It was automatic. Yeah, well, automatics always use a bit more fuel, don't they? Nice having an automatic. When petrol was cheap, that is. Steve G, hi. I went from a Mark IV Mondeo to a Vensis. After a few months, I went back to Mondeo Titanium. Far nicer quality and better to drive. Plus your videos help forget. Well, thank you, Stevie. I don't know much about the Toyota Vensis, but I think from what I've seen of them, I've been in a couple of them, they're a bit tinny, if you know what I mean. They don't, it's like, there's, you know, like you shut the door, there's no like solidness to it, if you know what I mean. It's nice to feel like when you shut a door, it feels solid. I think the Toyotas are a bit on the light side. I think they're good cars, they're reliable, but it's not, you know, it depends what you want. Sometimes it's just the driving experience that's more important than just getting from A to B. Sometimes you just feel like you're in a certain car, you know, you feel good in a certain car. Or you like the shape of it, or the quality of the interior, the dash and the buttons and everything else. It feels right. In other cars, it just feels like shitty. Anyway, time is rattling on. I'm going to have to wrap this up, guys. Colm Riley, hello. 2 litre TDCI. You did a video on oil pressure sensor. I have the same problem. Mechanic not ruling it out, but was going to try oil switch first. If it's the oil pressure, yeah, you've got the oil pressure switch and the oil pressure control solenoid, which is next to the oil pressure switch. They're right next to each other. The oil pressure control solenoid is like a longish one. The solenoid can cause the engine to go into limp mode. The oil pressure switch, I don't think that's going to give you any issues. The solenoid's, what, about £100 just over, something like that. They're quite a common thing for going wrong. Normally, if you put your foot down and accelerate, and then it takes a dump on you, the car goes into limp mode, and it comes up with a code relating to the oil pressure control solenoid. You'll just change the solenoid. Yeah, I've not had to change oil pressure switches on them cars. It's only been the solenoid that's been the problem. Flipping next time, you're on the ball, aren't you? You don't miss a thing. Anyway, I'm going to have to call it a night. I will do another one. I know I sort of like keep saying this, and I don't do it for the next 3 or 4 weeks, but I will try and do one per week. And that way, I can sort of like, if you can get your questions in quick enough, then I'll try and get around to them. But the problem is, there's so many of you. Oh, let me stop on this one. Hello, Mark. Well, thank you very much. See if this works. Here's a 10. Cheers. You're feeding the alcohol addiction. But I shan't be going on to cigarettes again. Them days have gone. If I had a cigarette now, I'd drop dead. But no, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Chris, remember what I said about imported coal being a trip from Immingham to Ratcliffe and Drax, now at 13 trains a day. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Do you know what? Unless you actually know what's really going on, you just sort of like we're all in the dark. What happened to the world? What happened to the government when they're supposed to sort of like be there for the people of the country? Now they couldn't give a shit. So I think they all need sort of like overthrowing. Do what the French done, have a revolution. Get them all out. Russell Brand's got the right idea. He needs to change the whole bloody system. Because we've got nothing here. We've got nothing in this country anymore. You've got Conservatives who aren't even Conservative. They're just shills. And then you've got Labour. And what are Labour going to do? What is... Should I call him Sir Keir Starmer? What the hell is he... Oh, I've gone to sleep already just thinking about him. But it's like, what's he going to do with the country? I really don't know. It's going to be nothing compared to what's being done at the minute, is it? Except they're a bit more down the old socialist route, verging on communism. So I personally will not vote for any of them now. I will vote for an independent party, even though I know it's not going to get me absolutely nowhere. Anyway, it's time to say goodbye. I'm just seeing if there's anything else. Let me just stop here. Tangerine, Finland. Well, hello there over in Finland. Thanks for the great videos you make. I have the second Mark III running. First one broke down as valve number 4 broke. Oh, after too much. Oh. Well, that'll give you a little project to get that fixed, won't it? I do like the Mark IIIs though. That's what I'm driving at the minute. I'm driving around in the rental. I've got a Titanium X parked outside. It says Mark III. It's still a bloody nice car. It's got the flipping heated seats, heated windscreen. It's got all the bells and whistles on it. Tinted glass. Can't complain. It needs a lot of work doing to it, which I've got to do, but I'll do it bit by bit. So I've got my project set out there. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining the live stream. It's been great. I might do one at the weekend. I might do I was going to do like a camera gear talk at the weekend, and then maybe next Wednesday I'll just do another one like tonight. But if I think of anything that's kind of interesting topic to talk about, then I'll make that as the title. But anyway, thanks everybody. I'm glad you all stopped by, and thanks to everybody who did stop by and said hello. It's been a great night to do a little live stream. I'm well happy. I've got my JD, which I haven't finished yet, and thank you very much, Chris, for this. This Jack Daniels is going to last me quite a long time, that's for sure. So I will say good night, good evening to everybody. Have a good one out there. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.